Hi there, welcome back to Cloud with Arya. So in the last two videos, we covered Azure Service Endpoint and Private Endpoints with complete demo. And in this video, we'll see which one should you choose in your own environment. So we'll compare both of them side by side and determine which is useful according to our use case. So in Azure, Service Endpoints and Private Endpoints are two of the most commonly used networking features for securing your PaaS services such as storage account, SQL databases, Key Vault, and so on. And many people think they solve different problems, but actually they solve the same problem in different ways. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which option to choose in your own environment. So let's start with the problem because of which these two services were introduced. So suppose you have a virtual machine that access storage account. By default, storage account has a public endpoint. Even though Azure secures the connection, we may not want our traffic coming through the public accessible endpoint. So how do we restrict access only to the trusted network? That is for the virtual machine to access the storage account without going to in the public internet. So for this, Azure provides two major solutions. The first is service endpoint and the second is private endpoint. Both of them improve security, but the way they do it is different. So understanding the difference is the key to choosing the right option. So let's start with the service endpoint. So in this diagram, we have a virtual machine present in a subnet and then a virtual network, and we have a PaaS resource that is SQL database. So when you enable the service endpoint in the subnet, that subnet will now trust PaaS resource, and we can enable multiple services. The service can be your Azure MySQL server, your Key Vault or storage account. And this is the first step. And the second step in the storage account in the networking, you would have to restrict the traffic to be coming from only the subnet. So service endpoint is a two-way step. We enable the subnet identity to trust the PaaS resource, and in the PaaS resource we have to give the subnet from where we want our traffic should be coming from, and then all of the traffic coming outside of this VNet subnet is going to then get blocked. Now this is secure, your traffic is coming only from your defined subnet, but the important thing to remember is Azure still has a public endpoint, meaning for this virtual machine to access the SQL database, it's going to use the public endpoint that resolves to the public IP to connect. And how service endpoint works, so the virtual machine sends a request to the database. Now Azure identifies that the subnet has a service endpoint enabled. The storage account will then check its firewall rules. If the request originates from a allowed subnet, then access is granted, and all of this traffic is going through the Microsoft backbone network. That means it doesn't go over the public internet. Wherever Microsoft has their region data centers, all those data centers are connected with their Microsoft backbone network, and this will provide network level security without changing how the service is accessed. So you don't have to change any DNS or make any additional configuration. So what we achieved with service endpoint was that earlier, to access the storage account, we were using the public internet, but now all the traffic is going through Microsoft backbone network. But the virtual machine is still using the public endpoint to access the MySQL database. And to completely remove the public endpoint, Microsoft came up with private endpoint. Now, private endpoint takes very different approach. Instead of relying on the public endpoint, Azure creates a private IP address inside your virtual network. Now the service appears as if it exists within your virtual network, but instead only the NIC is present at your VNet that is allocated to the storage account, and the storage account and the NIC has connectivity with private link, and this significantly reduces the exposure because traffic remains private from end to end. That is, from your virtual machine to the storage account, everything is private, and we can completely shut down public access from the PaaS resource. So how private endpoint work? So when you create a private endpoint, you define a virtual network and a subnet from where the NIC is going to get created, and that network interface card is attached to the storage account with the private link. And now this seems like as if your storage account is within your virtual network, but actually it is separate but connected via private link. And this IP will resolve to the storage account when accessed from the virtual machine. The traffic in this case never needs to reach a public endpoint, and this is why private endpoint is often preferred in highly secure production environments because we don't want our critical databases to be publicly available. Now, when we compare both of them side by side, in the service endpoint, we access the PaaS resource from our internal resources with the public endpoint, but it travels in the Microsoft backbone network. But in case of private endpoint, from the virtual machine to the PaaS resource, the traffic is all internal and is accessible over the private network. Though it feels like the storage account is inside your virtual network, but it is the private link that makes the connectivity from the virtual network to the storage account successful. Now, let's go into the depth how each service behaves. So the difference number one is the public endpoint access. So with service endpoint, the public endpoint remains available. Access is simply restricted through the network rules. But with the private endpoint, the public access can be disabled completely, and that's a major security advantage. Next we have is the IP addressing. So the service endpoint does not create a private IP for the service, whereas in private endpoint creates a dedicated private IP inside your virtual network, and this makes the service appear like it's locally connected. Next we have is the DNS requirement. So the service endpoint requires no DNS changes, but the private endpoint requires private DNS zones so that our internal resources can have a name resolution to the private IP of the PaaS resource. And this is actually where many engineers get confused during implementation, because creating a private endpoint is not enough. You would have to configure the DNS also so that the internal resources can access the resource with the name. And when we compare the security, both of the option improve security. However, private endpoint offer a smaller attack surface because public access can be removed entirely. And service endpoint is also secure, but because of the presence of public endpoint, private endpoint is typically considered the most secure option. And in the cost comparison, service endpoint is absolutely free, meaning you don't get any charge whenever you enable a service endpoint. But with the private endpoint, we get the charge. So the charge can be your DNS zone, inbound and outbound data processed from the PaaS resource, and then your hourly endpoint charges. So you can go to pricing calculator and check the cost if you are thinking of implementing the private endpoint. And in the setup complexity, setting up service endpoint is a two-way process. We enable the service endpoint on the subnet, and in the PaaS resource on the networking setting, we add only that VNet to access the storage account. But whereas in private endpoint, it's a multi-step process. We deploy a network interface card. After deploying a network interface card, we configure a private DNS zone for the name resolution. And in the private DNS zone, then we link the DNS zone to the VNet. Then we update NSG rules and then disable the public access, and this will help you to decide which should you choose. So in service endpoint we do not have any private IP, but with private endpoint we have a private IP. And in service endpoint the traffic leaves VNet because it travels to the Azure backbone network, but in private endpoint the traffic never leaves the VNet. And for service endpoint no DNS changes are required, but with private endpoint DNS changes are required. And please ignore this tick and cross, it is incorrect, and just see the no and yes. So next we have is the on-premises support. Service endpoint doesn't support premises traffic, but with private endpoint we can connect with on-premises resources. And a service endpoint doesn't work across pairing, but private endpoints work across pairing. And the cost of the service endpoint is free, but with private endpoint we have the cost associated with it. That includes the DNS zone, hourly cost for private endpoint, and the traffic bound and outbound traffic going from the private endpoint. So this was the comparison between the private endpoint and the service endpoint. If you want to know more about how to configure and set up in your own environment, I've already created a video which has a complete demo from end to end. And with the coverage of service and private endpoint, the next topic will cover Azure private DNS zones, because once you implement private endpoint, DNS becomes a critical part of the solution. And also for other services, when you want private DNS zones to resolve, understanding DNS zones is very important. And give a like and subscribe if you like this video, and we'll meet in the next one.